And Heidi, 2 life sentences to run concurrently.
Yes, most certainly. So we do know that the Johannesburg High Court has just handed down judgments. We know it's 2 life sentences. Vincenzo Pietropaolo has been handed down 2 life sentences for killing his father in 2017, and 8 months later he murdered his wife, his estranged wife, outside their home. A number of other sentences have also been handed down. He has been sentenced to 15 years for being in the possession of firearms without licenses, 5 years for being in the possession of ammunition without a license, 3 years for firing an unlicensed firearm, and another 3 years for attempting to defeat the ends of justice. And this will also run concurrently. Of course, his legal team, which he changed a number of times, had requested for a lenient sentence because of his age. We do understand that he's 63 years old, but the judge, Tulas, I must add, was scathing in his judgment. He called Vincenzo Pietropaolo a pathological liar. He called him evil. He said what he did was completely cruel. And the judge also adding that Vincenzo Pietropaolo, who was the former treasurer of the Bank of Athens, was a highly educated man, and he failed to take the court into his confidence to understand what was the motive behind the killing. He, of course, killed his father in his sleep, and police had initially thought that this was a botched robbery that had gone wrong. But then when he murdered his wife, he shot his wife 9 times at the entrance of the house that they used to share. He had been roaming around the vicinity for some time and had waited for her to be alone before he rocked up at the house, entered the premises, and then shot her 9 times. So this is, of course, a massive relief for the family. They have been waiting since 2017 for this case to conclude. It's been a long journey. And, of course, Vincenzo Pietropaolo had many times attempted to stall this case, to stall the trial. He initially admitted to the killing, says he was provoked by an emotional storm. Later on, he withdrew and said that his lawyer misled him. So this case has finally concluded, and he has been handed down 2 life sentences.
So the judge in that particular case not failing to show society's abhorrence of the actions of Vincenzo Pietropaolo. And Heidi, it would seem then that none of his arguments for a lenient sentence held any water with the judge.
Most certainly not, Tulas. And the judge actually explaining that very clearly in court, relating to a number of court cases, previous court cases, where there was some kind of lenience that was shown given the circumstances. But what stood out the most for the judge, indicating that Vincenzo Pietropaolo on a number of occasions failed to take the court into his confidence, failed to explain what exactly transpired, and constantly reneged on initial statements and affidavits expressing what initially happened. He first said that he did not kill his father. He had no understanding or recollection of what happened. He, just like the rest of the family, thought it was a robbery that went wrong. But when police further investigated, they realized it was the same firearm that he actually stole from his father's safe to use to kill his father in his sleep, and muffle the gunshots, and then use that same gun to shoot his wife 8 months later, rather. So the judge saying that there was no remorse that was shown. There was actually 0 remorse. He initially said he was provoked by an emotional storm, and that's why he shot his wife. He had no intention of harming her. And then later on he said he didn't do that. And the judge saying that the court is mature enough to realize that the victim, which was his estranged wife, did not shoot herself 9 times. And it clearly shows that she did not do that. So there was no leniency from the Johannesburg High Court, because there's clear evidence to prove that Vincenzo Pietropaolo murdered both, and it was premeditated.
All right, thank you for that. That's ENCA's Heidi Jokos tracking that story there for us.